2, 1. All right, everybody, welcome to the Couch Sports Talk Podcast. I am Goose, here with Young E, here with Philanthropist, in person, looking good. How the fuck are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Excited for another night. It's been a good week. Looking forward to another Ravens win this weekend. Hell yeah, baby.
What about you, Philanthropist?
I'm doing good, man. I'm looking forward to discussing NFL Week 1, what went right, what didn't, and then getting a little preview of this week's games.
Okay, cool. I don't know about you guys, but I was able to watch the Thursday night football game. Officially the first Thursday night football game. Kind of want to talk about that just to start the show off. And I got to be honest, Joe Burrow looks like he was a good pick. He looks like he's going to be a stud. It looks like that last season, record-breaking college quarterback historical season that he had. A lot of people thought it could potentially be a fluke. Maybe, because he was a backup before. He was behind some quarterbacks that definitely didn't go number one. So what he did in LSU really came out of nowhere for a lot of people. And he looked good, man. He looked calm, even behind that offensive line, as calm as you could really be. I mean, he had maybe 2 seconds to throw, and that's it. Maybe Zach Taylor could maybe do some better play calling.
No, we'll get to that.
But I was actually really impressed with Joe Burrow. I think he was a big hit. This man is gonna boom. He's gonna boom, bro. And I'm excited for it. It looks like the Bengals finally got their guy. Let's see if that franchise will ruin him. No indoor practice facility. I think that's a big deal. And then on the other side, it looked like the Browns kind of figured it out. It's kind of hard to tell because the Bengals are the Bengals and their defense is the Bengals defense. But Odell got me a tub for fantasy, which is nice because I'm going against Philanthropist. They finally figured out, hey, maybe if we run the ball with our two great running backs, Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and then allow Baker to play action, we might fucking win. I thought they did a good job of that. Philanthropist, I don't know if you got to watch any of the game yesterday, but what were your first reactions coming from that game?
Free Joe Burrow, man. I think Zach Taylor is a horrible coach. I've been saying this on the pod for a while now. I think he is a poor man's McVay. Listen, there's never a situation in which I don't care if you have Dan Marino in the flesh as your rookie quarterback should never be throwing 60 times in a game. All right?
Facts.
That's ridiculous. You have Joe Mixon. That's a perfectly fine running back. Establish your run game. Let it come naturally to him. Thank God Joe Burrow is as good as he is, because if you give a rookie 60 pass attempts and you have no picks coming out of that, you're lucky. I don't care what you say. With that being said, I'm not impressed at all with the Browns. I think this Bengals team is, again, one of the worst teams in the league. And for the Browns to barely eke out this win, with Baker still throwing a stupid interception in the red zone late in the game, I'm not high on the Browns. I think Baker is officially in danger territory for me of being a potential bust. I think that run game is still solid, but I am not high on the Browns. I'm going to make a pivot here. I know I predicted them to make the wild card. I'm now predicting them to go a solid 6-10. I think they're going to be out of the playoffs, one of the worst teams in that division, along with the Bengals, and I am off the Browns hype train.
Now, before we do get to Young E, I want to ask you, as a lifelong 49ers fan, can't you potentially see Baker going through what Alex Smith went through?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Baker does not seem to have the... I got to be careful with my words here. Baker does not seem to have the leadership qualities and drive that I would want out of somebody like that to make those necessary improvements.
Okay.
At least, obviously I don't know the guy, but from what I've seen on the field, he seems to have that type of stubborn quarterback attitude where instead of trying to make the right read or change what you're doing, he tends to just rely on his arm talent and his ability to try and force throws. Alex Smith was a guy who really came around because, one, the Niners just didn't have any other options. They gave him about 5 or 6 years of being horrible for him to try and turn it around. I don't think Baker is going to be on a leash that long, for one. And also, I think just, bare minimum, I think Baker has a better arm and better talent than Alex Smith to start off with. Okay. So I just think he should be better, point blank.
Are you kind of agreeing with Colin Cowherd?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not agreeing with Colin Cowherd. This is my own individual judgment that I just don't think Baker is the guy, or I'm saying at least he potentially could not be the guy. But we'll have to see. My thing is, I look at a quarterback's environment, and Baker has weapons all around him. He has a fantastic running game. His offensive line is not terrible. I'm not going to say it's great or good. Yeah, but they sure look good this week. He's getting clean pockets.
They were without Conklin this week. So
right. But I mean, overall,
yeah, they did. It's against the Bengals though. So,
and I just want more out of my quarterback. If I'm the Browns.
I agree.
So we'll see how it goes. He still has plenty of time to turn it around. But as a team, I'm off the train. I don't know what's wrong there, but something is.
Okay, I respect that. So, Young E, I wanted to go last. Go to you last for this one because these are two teams that I know you watch carefully because they are in your division. I know they're not usually the competitor or the rival, the biggest rival in that division for the Ravens. It's usually the Steelers. But you watch them a lot. Last 2 weeks, have you seen any improvement from the Browns and the Bengals? I know we're going to talk about Burrow and that improvement in that area. But are you scared of the Browns at all? Are you worried about the future with the Bengals? What did last night show you?
So first, I want to comment on the Zach Taylor comments Phil made and the 60 passes. I want to address that was more of a flow of the game type of thing. I'm going to say, obviously, Joe Burrow looked like he was on all night, and the line was doing well. And they also still ran the ball 30 times. They ran 90 plays last night. It was that flow of the game. I'm just going to tell you, if you're running 90 plays in today's NFL, I would say 30 to 40% of teams are running 60 passes, and those are teams with elite quarterbacks. So I wanted to address that first and foremost. Now, back to what Goose said. No, I'm not worried about the Browns.
Okay.
I am actually pretty surprised that everyone is already hopping off the Baker train so quick. I heard the announcers the whole game talking about, they might not re-up his option after this year because of the new regime.
Oh my God!
I will be really, really surprised. But, I mean, I guess if he has a really bad season, I could see it happening.
Isn't the option after 4 years?
This is his 4th year.
Is it really? Oh, my.
I believe so, yes.
New coach every year?
New coach every year. Yeah, because Hugh Jackson won the backup job. And then he had, I don't remember who their interim was that season. And then he had Freddie Kitchens the next year.
Greg Williams was the
interim. Okay, awful.
Greg
Fucking
Williams is the best coach they had.
Terrible. And now he has Stefanski, new regime. So we'll see. If it doesn't work out, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't.
Is this kind of going off track? Is this a scenario maybe where Baker will perform better somewhere else?
I do think Baker is a good quarterback. I see the potential in him, and I just think he probably needs a different environment, and I think the Browns need a different quarterback because the Browns are at a point right now where they have so much talent on their team, they need to be doing better. And I just don't think Baker is in a place where he is going to be able to contribute that. He never really got the luxury that Mahomes or Lamar got to sit back and learn for a couple games before having to get in. I mean,
Fair
and
enough.
With the Browns as well, sitting back for a couple games and learning isn't really doing much because you're with the Browns. So, no, not worried about the Browns. But what I will say is with this division. All right, we just looked over to the TV, and this man Shaq is just sweeping the floor.
That's Charles.
Oh, that's Chuck? Oh, man, that's Chuck. Look at his shoes. Those are clean.
He's calling sweep. Lakers over Nuggets sweep. Man, he's really cleaning the whole floor.
Bro, I like when they have Draymond on the show. It brings something else. But, yeah, the plexiglass between them makes me really upset.
It
That
does.
shit's so stupid.
That's not going to do much.
All right, but back to the topic.
Yeah.
What I realized last night was this division, I would say after this year, maybe next, because I think Ben is coming to an end. I think he gets hurt again. That's probably it, but we'll see.
He looked good.
But I will admit he looked good, but that game was awful, and the Giants looked terrible. So not going to give Ben too much credit. I think he's going to have a lot harder game this week in the Broncos. But what I saw from this game is that this division is going to be a competition between Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow for the next 10 years.
Okay.
And-
Okay. that was about to say.
I don't mean this year. Not this year.
Whoa.
No, next 10 years. I think it's going to be these two guys. I think they're going to be studs at quarterback. I think both of them will eventually be top 10, top 5 quarterbacks. I think Lamar is borderline top 5 right now.
Borderline.
And, you know,
Put some respect on
Okay.
your guy's name.
I will say Lamar is top 3, but
Two, and he's not two.
let's chill. Let's chill.
Let's relax.
I will give him 2, but I don't know. 2, 3 between him and Russ. I don't know. But a lot of people have Lamar like behind Deshaun Watson, so I'm just saying borderline to respect other people's opinions.
That's blasphemy.
But now we'll really see that shit this weekend when the Ravens blow the fuck out of the Texans. But
yes. Okay.
You
Young
asked
E.
me, am
No, I
I
didn't.
scared of the Browns?
No.
No.
You're not.
Look at that week 1 game.
Yes.
Hell no.
Okay. We talked a lot about Baker and Burrow. Did you see anybody outside of that you thought did well and someone who you thought did shitty?
Okay. So Browns had a couple players do really well last night. Chubb, Hunt, and Myles Garrett. I kind of forgot after last year how good Myles Garrett really is, but he really is like going to be a top 5 defender in the NFL. He's that good.
He might be top 3, bro.
Now, the Browns secondary letting me down. They're shit. Very bad. And the Browns line looked good at times, but also looked really bad at times and just not organized. So I think that's more on the coaching side. I think those secondary coaches with the offensive line coaches and, you know, the quarterback coaches, they need to get it together. But I think they're moving in the right direction with Stefanski. I just don't see them as a threat. Now, Bengals, receivers, all looked really good. T. Higgins looked good. A.J. Green looked good. Fucking Tyler Boyd looked good. Hate to see Uzama get hurt because he had a good game. But Burrow, fantastic. The defense, each and every single player on the defense. Fuck. Get some new people out there. Do the Broncos. Or not the Broncos, the Dolphins. Get some randoms out there and put together a defense that can win you some games. Pull the Dolphins. Come on.
Okay, my thing with that is the Bengals don't have Flores.
No. But they don't. And I don't even know who their defensive coordinator is, but probably need someone else after this year. But I'm not counting out Zach Taylor too quick. I will speak on that before I'm done. Zach Taylor actually had some decent play calls last night. I saw some really good creativity in some of the play calls. I was very impressed. So I see maybe a 4-12 season out of the Bengals, and maybe in the second game they can take the Browns. And I'm actually going to take them in the second game against the Browns. So I'm seeing a little bit higher trajectory for the Bengals, 4-12. And I'm seeing a little bit lower trajectory for the Browns and I'm going with 6-10 as well.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I thought it was a good game. I think what a lot of people aren't realizing is that at some point it was 35-30 during the game. So we got a lot. We got one team that's really young and really shitty, and another that has a mix of young and some veterans, and we'll see how that goes. New coaching staff and all that, and we got to take into account too. This is basically everybody's preseason games, so we'll see what changes. I mean, fuck Joe Burrow. They could start 0-4, and then he just all of a sudden makes them go 12-4. You never know.
And that backfield is so good.
Yeah,
they have such good tools around him on offense.
Yeah. So before we get into, we're gonna take. So this is Friday night for us. These will be uploaded on Saturdays, and we're gonna basically give the rundown of all the games that are gonna happen on Sunday, also on Monday, and then we're gonna end up having shows on Tuesdays talking about. No, we're actually gonna have a show. We're going to do one on Sunday night that's going to be uploaded on Monday. And we're going to talk about all the games that happened on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, we're going to talk about what happened on Monday. And then other sports as well. So, yeah, we're going to have an episode up every Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. And I totally lost where I was going with that. But I think I was pretty much done. Anyways... before we do get into the NFL preview, we can go ahead and talk really quickly about the game that just happened. We just seen Chuck go and clean the entire floor. Did a great job of sweeping. Oh, yeah. And that's how this game looked. It's very clear the Lakers are the better team. It's, I thought watching...
Yes, sir.
I thought watching in the beginning, the Nuggets do seem to be a better matchup in comparison to the Rockets. No. Just because of the clear fact that they have actual big men on their team. But at the end of the day, they're not going to have the firepower, the offense that the Rockets had. The Rockets, could at least keep up because of their three-point shooting. And for the Nuggets to win, it's going to come down to, is Murray going to have to put up 50? Is Jokic going to have to put up 30 with 10 and 10? So, Philanthropist, what did you think about this game? And is Charles right? Is this a sweep?
Man, so I had a lot of thoughts going into this game about how the matchups could look. And really, after taking a look at the first 3 quarters of this game, I'm with Charles on this, man. I think this is going to be a sweep. Something that really stuck out to me is that the Lakers and their mental toughness in this game and the way they were coming at these guys on the Nuggets, completely different mentality from what the Clippers were throwing at them. The Clippers, as we all know, looked really complacent, uninterested, not taking them seriously. And what really gets lost is that the Lakers have a lot of guys that are past their prime, but who have been there and who have gone deep into playoff runs and have won championships, and that really know the mental capacity that it's going to take to put away a team like this. And what I saw today is that they were just attacking Jamal Murray mentally in that second quarter. We had Dwight Howard come in, and I swear Dwight Howard played 6 minutes probably the whole game, but in those 6 minutes, he was the best defender on the court. He was in everybody's business. He was bumping everybody every chance he could get, frustrating people. He almost got Coach Malone a technical. He made Jamal Murray get a technical. He was all over the place. And then Rondo comes in, and he's just hounding Jamal Murray the entire time, playing defense like it's 2012. And really, when you look at the matchups here, AD is just going to lock down Jokic. Jokic might be able to still get 15 points, 16 points, maybe 10 assists, but he's not going to dominate a game. So it's really going to fall on Jamal Murray's shoulders to be the leader here. And tonight, based on the different looks they were throwing at him, they had Caruso on him a bunch, they had Rondo on him, and then KCP and Danny Green took a few stabs at it. Just the way the matchups are looking, I don't really see a path forward for the Nuggets here. But with that being said, they deserve respect because they have come out of some improbable situations so far. But I just think the differentiator here is that with the Lakers, I think they're the only team left that has 2 legitimate superstars. The Clippers had George Paul, who is not a superstar. Even when he's at his best, I would put him as a high-level star. And really, the Lakers have 2 guys where they're just showing up every night. They just are. And you can try to minimize them, but you're not stopping them. They're giving you 20-plus every night. So really, for the Lakers, as long as you have 2 of your 6 role players who show up and do what they're supposed to do, you're most likely going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Charles. I'm going with Ethan. I'm calling a sweep from here on out.
Yeah, I just want it to be known. I did not say that. I just got up and got the broom because I thought it was funny. All right. I think the Nuggets are getting 1 or 2 if I'm going to be real with you. I think one game Jamal will put up 50 and he'll just carry them to a dub, and it's going to happen. And I think tonight, what else I saw from watching this game, and I did get to watch most of it, the Lakers got contributions from a lot of players that they're not normally getting contributions from. So look at Dwight, 13 points. That's not going to hold up. I mean, Rondo with 9 assists, that will probably hold up. But, I just...
Rondo has passed Michael Jordan for 10th in playoff assists.
And what LeBron scored all but 2 of his points in the second quarter. That's a little worrisome to me. But
What?
I guess, but he didn't play it all in the fourth quarter. So I mean, I get it.
They almost won by 30, and he only had to score 15 points.
Yeah, but again, they got a lot of contributions from players that I don't think will continue. But we will see. Look at Rajon Rondo on the screen. I don't like him with his little cornrows.
I
want him
what
to-
the fuck?
I want him to go back to his fade. He was looking fresh back in them Pelicans days.
No, you need to chill. Just let people be themselves.
Nah, I'm just playing. I think it's interesting that the team.
Yeah, you need to sweep Ethan.
I think it's interesting that the whole team has the same haircut. I think that's kind of cool. But at the same time, I got to hate on it a little bit because the Yankees did that a couple years ago. And that shit made me mad. So, because it's the fucking Yankees. So,
That shit made me mad.
I respect it.
You can't
But
do
at the
that.
same time, I
You
can't
can't
respect
do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say about this game. It was clearly lopsided. I don't know why you're hating on Draymond. But yeah, I think right now it's looking like it's gonna be. We can talk about the Heat a little bit before we head into our first break. The Heat, they look really good. It's one of, like I was telling you guys earlier in the last podcast. I really can't see the Celtics coming back now. I think either team, whatever one went up 2-0, it's just best of 5. You're going to tell me that the Celtics are going to beat the Heat 4 games. Okay, it could obviously happen, but it's very unlikely when you have a team that is well coached and
Whoa! We got another sweep call from Ethan Jones here, folks. He is calling a sweep of the Miami Heat over the Boston Celtics. Little premature if you ask me, but we'll see about that.
Young E, I need some reasoning behind that. Give it to us.
As close as the games have been, I think what I have seen so far, and as much as I love Kemba, the Celtics do not have someone who can step up in the clutch.
What?
What has happened the last 2 games?
They've been clutch,
I mean,
though.
Okay, Jason Tatum got blocked. That was kind of amazing. Okay. But the last game,
It was amazing. It wasn't kind of
Okay.
amazing.
okay, either way, the last game, they came back in the fourth quarter and then they choked it away. They took a 4-point lead towards the end of the game and then they ended up losing by like 7. It was just like, I just saw them, they went on like a 10-0 run with like 4 minutes left in the game. I mean, you can't tell me that's not choking. Are you going to tell me that's clutch? If a team goes 10-0 in the last 4 minutes of a game,
I just
you're
seen
going
it.
to tell me that's clutch.
I just seen it as a thing where we had 2 great teams going back and forth, and at some point, one team's gonna get the advantage. Philanthropist, what do you have to say about what he just said?
How much time do we have?
No, you guys keep talking. I'll just switch the camera.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so my opinions on this series, one, I disagree with Ethan saying that they don't have clutch players. I just think the Heat have made, 1 or 2 more plays in both of these games. These games have been won by razor-thin margins. And what I think from Game 2 is that the Celtics were up 15 in the third quarter, and then the Heat threw a 2-3 zone at them, and they just weren't prepared for the zone. From that point on, the Heat went on about a 15-0 run, got it back to where it was a dead even game, and then they won in the fourth quarter, playing zone the whole time. Now, with that being said, Brad Stevens is going to make that adjustment. They might not run a zone next game, but I'll tell you one thing, the Celtics are going to be prepared on offense if they do, because it disrupted their entire flow. They didn't play the same the whole game. And really, these two games have been won by, I think, a combined 3 points, 4, 5, 6 points, something like that. I don't think, and I don't feel comfortable saying that the Celtics are going to come back and win, but I know for a fact it's not going to be a sweep. These two teams are dead even. And it just so happens that Jimmy Butler is playing his fucking ass off. I don't know if y'all saw that fourth quarter of Game 2, he made these 3 defensive plays in a row in the last 2 minutes that were
insane.
just incredible. Just stealing the ball out of an inbounds. Just really, really great stuff from Jimmy Butler. But at the same time, these Celtics guys are coming to play.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would concern me on the Celtics end is the report of the locker room things that have been going on with Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. I think it is overblown, because I really think that most NBA teams, especially in playoff series, yell at each other after games. And I think the media just happens to be closer to the locker rooms. They have more access than they usually do. So I think they're blowing it out of proportion a little bit. At the same time, you don't want to see the character of the guys and the chemistry fall apart. And what I've been hearing, and what's been a consistent theme, is that one of the issues that they're discussing is that Gordon Hayward is coming back in Game 3. And going back to last year with Kyrie, there's been reports that the team feels that Brad Stevens plays Gordon Hayward too much when he might not deserve it. And honestly, at this point,
White privilege.
White privilege. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, they obviously have a history together. Brad Stevens was his college coach. And I think, unfortunately, because of his injury history, I don't believe that Gordon Hayward deserves to take minutes from Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, which he most likely will. So yeah. I am concerned, but I'm going to stick with my pick. I think the Celtics are going to gut it out. It has to go the distance now, because there's no way they're winning 4 in a row. But we're going to have to see how it develops from here.
I got to say, there's been very limited amounts of memories in my head where I could remember somebody taking over a game defensively in basketball like we've seen probably in the last 2 games. I mean, last Game 2, phenomenal. Those last those 3 possessions in a row where he had those steals, and even one of them, I've seen people comparing it to a clip of Michael Jordan where he was the one where Jimmy Butler dove out of bounds and threw it behind him and then ran around and got the dunk. MJ made the dunk or the finish a lot better, but that's just MJ.
He's Michael.
Yeah. But yeah, it really, shows you. And the thing is too, is I just looked at the stats and he had 14 points. And in my opinion, he's really the only person in the game right now that can lead his team to a victory and only score 14 points.
It happens all the time. The Heat every night are going to get 80 points from their starting 5. And that's really, really rare for them to have, 5 guys who are scoring. I mean, Dragic has been insane. Just insane.
Bro, the fucking 3 that he hit and then the step back jumper.
Yep.
Dragic's been averaging like 30.
He's a bear.
He's been their leading scorer in the playoffs. Dragic has. And that's just crazy. And
they have role players too.
Yeah, and their role players are great. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, but this overall feeds into my skepticism for the Heat, because especially in the conference finals and the finals, historically it's just been proven that your list of contributors shrinks to about 4 or 5. If you have more than 5 people who score double figures in a finals game, that's usually an aberration. Like even some of the great team-based or more evenly distributed teams like the 2014 Spurs that won the title, they were only having probably 4 guys score double figures every night. So I'm just skeptical that this kind of production can continue. I think they're all on a hot streak. And I don't know. We'll see. They've proven me wrong 3 times in a row now, so we'll see how the rest of the playoffs plays out. But great run from the Heat. Just fantastic job.
Youngie, you got anything more to say about your Heat
Jimmy wants it. And they got that heart. They got that heart.
I want to put a sign. They got that heart right there, right on the
With
back.
the Heat logo. With the Heat logo right here.
Just the Heat?
Yep. Fucking sign me out. What the fuck?
I fucking told you.
No, I went up. I don't know what to do.
Nah, you're tripping. All right. I think it's time we get down to brass tacks. Week 2.
Phil has the schedule.
Week
I'll pass the
2
mic to him.
NFL season 2020. We just seen the first game with Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati. I have no indoor practice facility Bengals.
Yep.
Just right off the bat, before we get into the games and our analysis of what we think is going to happen, do you have a game that you're looking forward to the most this week? Because I got to tell you, I am fucking juiced to see the Seahawks versus the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. I think that's probably, in my opinion, that might be the best game of the week.
Yeah. I will say for my purposes, and I think I want to start with this game when we do the previews, I'm most looking forward to the 49ers and Jets because we caught an ass whooping last week, and we have a lot of people hurt, and there is nothing in this world better than when your team is playing the Adam Gase-led Jets, because you know that's a W. So I'm looking forward to getting an easy win, getting all my guys some rest, and just having some stress-free football viewing experience. But that's a cop-out pick. I will also pick another matchup that I like a lot, and that's going to be the Falcons and the Cowboys. If I'm talking about a game where I'm really going to enjoy watching it, I think both teams are going to show up. I think it's this. Both teams are 0-1, so we might potentially be looking at a really early loser leaves town scenario here, where the team that goes down 0-2 is effectively out of the playoff hunt. Yep.
Especially their divisions. I don't know. I feel like Cowboys can come back if they're down 0-2. You never know. Young E, just right off the bat, what game are you looking forward to the most this week?
So I will also say the Ravens and Texans, because I have seen a lot of people actually predicting this game to be close, which I just think is absolutely fucking ridiculous. I think the Ravens will probably blow the Texans out just as bad as they did the Browns. They might put up 13 points instead of 6, but I think the Ravens might also put up 43 instead of 30.
A little closer to your mouth, Youngie. There we go.
My bad. So, yeah, I'm going to say I want to see that because I want to see the Ravens blow them out the water and do what they did to the Browns again. That's always fun. But my other game I want to see this week is coming from my number 2 team, the Broncos and the Steelers. I think this is a good matchup, actually. I saw a lot of good things out of Drew Lock last week. I think they saw a tough team in the Titans. I think the Steelers are a tough team too, but coming off of last week in that game, they are going to come in a little hot this week and, put up a fight. And I think Cortland Sutton might be back. I haven't looked at it yet.
That'd be hot.
He might be back, and that makes a big difference if he's back.
Definitely. I thought Drew Lock looked good week 1. So should we go ahead? Are we just looking at the Bleacher Report app here? Okay. Showing all the games. So we can actually just go right ahead and start from the very top, and that's showing the San Francisco 49ers versus the very, very sad New York Jets. I like this matchup because we get to see another week where the Jets get blown out. Yeah. At least I hope. Yep. But this, I will say, this would be the kind of game that Jimmy G and the Niners would lose just so the media could just go after Jimmy G all week. Yeah. I really hope that doesn't happen because I really see it if like the Jets start out 0-3, Gase might be gone. Yeah. And actually, no, I don't want that to happen. As much as I would like Gase to be fired because I think he's a terrible coach, and I hate to be wishing that on another person, but man, he makes some awful decisions. So, I actually wouldn't mind if we stuck around with the Jets for a while. I like that as a Dolphins fan. But, Flance, we'll start with you, man. What do you see? No, let's do this. How many points do you see the Niners winning this week? Winning by this week?
If it's anything less than 17, I'm disappointed.
Okay.
That's very fair. That's not an unrealistic expectation. We completely outmatched this team, even with everybody injured. Kittle's not playing. Sherman is on the IR. We still don't have Ayuk or Debo Samuel back. So really, what my expectation for this week is as a 49ers fan is Shanahan, I want you to open the playbook for Jimmy G, and we really need to see this week, can he do this or not? Because really last week, I know he had 2 touchdowns, no picks, about 250 yards. You think that's a good stat line. I'm telling you right now, just watching the actual game, he did not play well. He was missing throws, putting the ball in bad places. His stats were inflated by like a 70-yard touchdown pass to Mostert. That was about 60 yards of yards after the catch. So really this week, we have an opportunity to give Jimmy G the reins. Okay, I want to see a trick play here or there. I want you to see him put the ball in mid to deep passes. I want to see if he can really do this. And if he has, something less than 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to continue to have doubts about our passing game.
Do you think that there is still some doubts within the organization with Jimmy G? And that's
absolutely 100%.
Okay.
I don't care how many times you ask Richard Sherman a press conference question. Do you believe in Jimmy G? Is he your quarterback? The fact that you're being asked those questions means the doubt is there. All right? Because if you have a Lamar Jackson, a Deshaun Watson, if you have even a Ben Roethlisberger, you're not answering those questions in a press conference, okay?
Yeah.
We need to, I appreciate that they support their guy. That's the right answer. It's what you should do. But, it's the elephant in the room. Everybody knows there's a question mark at QB. And really, that's I mean, Jimmy G's a great leader, and he seems to be making improvements. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but really, that's what I'm looking for in this game is because that's our biggest outstanding question. Once the injuries, once those guys come back, we're going to have our roster. Our roster is great. We really need to figure out if we have the right quarterback for the team or not. And that's why I'm riding high on being able to beat up on the Jets.
I like it. Young E, any quick comments about this Jets-Niners matchup?
I picked Raheem Mostert in my daily fantasy because I know he's probably going to put up like 30, 35. So I expect the Niners to win by at least 24. That's my guess. The Jets are awful. They need to fire their coach. They need to get a new quarterback. They need to follow what this team did. Go get a number 1 pick and probably do better than this team did, but, maybe they can.
He's referencing the Bears.
Yes, we have Mitchell Trubisky detail on the TV with Peyton
goodness.
Manning. Big Trubisky highlights. Another game I'm looking forward to this week.
All right, Young E, we'll move on to the next game here, and that is the game that you specifically pointed out before we started, and that is the Broncos and the Steelers. What do you see the outcome of this game being, and do you see any player maybe stepping up and leading the game for a dub for their team?
So I looked. Courtland Sutton is a game-time decision. If he plays, that is a really big deal, and that might just get them the dub. Now, I think this game is going to come down to a field goal, and I have more trust in Brandon McManus than I do in Chris Boswell. So I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one by a slight margin, 2 points. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to the end, game-winning field goal. And if I see one player really stepping up for the Broncos this week, someone who I saw really bright signs of last week, Noah Fant. Tight end.
He looked good.
Absolute stud.
Can I tell you something, though, that's really bothering me about you and your NFL picks? I'm so tired of you saying it's coming down to the NFL fucking kickers. It's always coming down to the fucking kickers.
How bad were the kickers in week 1?
I don't give a good
How
goddamn
bad were the
fuck.
kickers in week 1?
Weren't that bad?
Yep. Goskowski
Titans-
missed 4 field goals and almost lost them the game.
Guess who still won the game, though?
Okay, I don't care. And then Browns kicker missed field goals. Someone cut their kicker last week or this week. Was it the Browns? Someone cut their kicker after week 1. And there's other teams that are looking at cutting their kickers. Kickers are awful. Okay? We need some new kickers in the NFL. We need some more kickers like Justin Tucker, where when he steps up to kick a field goal, you shouldn't be like, oh shit, I gotta be worried because he's hitting
He's up.
50% of these.
Okay.
But yes, I think more games than we realize come down to the abilities of the kickers.
All I know.
Also, we saw Chris Boswell kick a ball out of bounds last week on a kickoff. Do you know how detrimental that is to your team? The other
Yeah.
team starts with the ball at the 45. 45.
All I know is Gostowski missed 4 kicks, and they still won.
Okay, that was just on.
They still won.
That was on the rest
They
of the
still
team being good.
Got to sit down,
And I'm
tuck
telling
the
you,
napkin in their neck,
and
get their silverware in hand, and ate a W.
you know what I'm gonna tell you? You know what I saw out of the Titans last week? They're a top 3 team in the AFC.
Yeah,
100%.
I like that.
Yeah,
I love it.
their defense was nice. So, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Broncos by 2, better kicker. That's what wins them the game. And Noah Fant.
Philanthropist, quick comments on Steelers and Broncos.
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are good. Did we not see the Giants game? The Giants looked horrible, and they were in it the whole time. I know
Yeah.
the game was by 10 points, but that's one of the times where the score does not necessarily tell you the story. They were in that from start to finish, and Saquon Barkley had like 10 yards on 20 rushes. So, I mean, I do not believe in the Steelers one bit.
Let's give credit. Daniel Jones did play well. Mm-hmm. He looks improved.
No, I mean, there's some things that he just can't control and that are out of
Yeah.
his control. And overall, looking at the Broncos, they faced, like what Ethan said, a top 3 team in the AFC. I think they're just going to come in and they're going to win. Because the Steelers are 1-0, the Broncos are 0-1. They know what's on the line. They're a team that typically falls victim to a slow start. I think they're going to come out and they're going to beat the brakes off the Steelers. I got the Broncos by 10.
Broncos by 10. I like that. I got to say that I'm going to pick the Broncos to win this one as well. I did like the way that Drew Lock looked last week, and I think they're a good team, a good young team that's going to be coming up here. I don't think they're going to be necessarily contending for the AFC West title. That's going to be Chiefs, and I thought the Raiders looked really good too. So it's going to be tough, but I'm not liking the Steelers. I thought they looked cheeks, and I don't ever really want to give credit to Big Ben. So there's that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game, and it's one that Philanthropist pointed out as being a good one here, and that is the Falcons and the Cowboys. We have Matt Ryan versus Dak Prescott. We have Julio Jones versus Amari Cooper. We have a team that got torched by Russell Wilson last week, and then we had a team that came very close to winning against a pretty damn good Rams team on Sunday Night Football. Philanthropist, where do you see this game going, and who do you see maybe breaking out and have a big game here?
So I'm going to go on a little soliloquy here about the Cowboys. I think because of who they are as a team, you can't do that. How they're America's team and they get all the spotlight, that there's a lot of irrational discussion about the Cowboys, okay? It's either people saying they're the best thing since sliced bread or people saying they're the worst thing on planet Earth. I am going to start rationally discussing the Cowboys from an objective point of view, or as objective as I can get.
This is the Couch Sports Talk podcast.
Yes.
So let's slow down on the rational talk.
Okay. All right. Okay. All I'm going to say is the Cowboys are a good team. I've been beating the table on this. We can't sit here and say,
Fuck off.
Can you stop sucking off Trubisky while I'm doing my talk? Jesus. The Cowboys are a good team, and we can't have it both ways when we say the Rams look really good, they look really improved, and then know that the Cowboys lost by 3 points on a really, really close, controversial no call, and then say that the Cowboys suck, okay? The Falcons got the brakes beaten off of them by the Seahawks. The Cowboys looked pretty good against the Rams. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here, although I like both teams, okay? I think that the Cowboys have an improved offense.
Yeah.
I think their defense is in a much better spot now. With Van Der Esch out, that's a different story. We're going to see how that looks with their backup. But overall, they have a lot of talent there. I think just based off what I saw in week 1, they look like a more well-coached team. I'm not saying they look like they have a great coach, but they definitely don't have Jason Garrett anymore. And I've been beating the table on that, and I'm telling you it's going to show. And I think it's going to show against the Falcons. I have Cowboys by 6.
That was actually another thing I forgot to mention about the Giants. I thought Jason Garrett actually looked pretty decent as his first game as OC for the Giants.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, with the 10 rushing yards on 30 attempts.
It made Daniel Jones look a lot better, but I see what you mean.
That's that defense.
But yeah, I respect what you're saying about the Cowboys. I think it is. I've been saying this. I hate the Cowboys just because of how not only their fans talk, but also how the media talks about them. Every single year, it's going to be the fucking Super Bowl. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, this is a great team. They have the potential to be one of the best teams in the league. It's just they got to put it all together. I'm not all that confident that they will get it all together this year, but they still look like they could do a lot of damage to a lot of good teams. Yeah. Young E, who do you have in this game and why?
So I will say I want to dispute that Rams and Seahawks argument. I think the Seahawks are a much better team than the Rams. So it does not surprise me that they blew out the Falcons. I think they would blow out the Cowboys. They are a much better team than the Rams. Okay. So I think these teams are more even than Phil is giving it. And what I think it comes down to is who has the better coach in this game. I don't think this game comes down to the kickers. I think it comes down to the coaches. Dan Quinn is really bad. And I hate Dan Quinn. And I really need him to get fired this year. Hopefully by like week 4 so they can actually turn the season around. Because they're a good team, but not with Dan Quinn as coach. So I'm giving it to the Cowboys by 2. But I think this is a really close game. I think it's going to be very high scoring. These defenses fucking suck. But I think it's going to come down to the coaching. Dan Quinn's going to mismanage the clock, kind of like fucking Vic Fangio did in week 1.
Yeah, that was ass. We did forget to mention that. I did not like the way he managed that clock at all.
And then he wouldn't take the blame in the post-game press conference. And
that's not good.
Everybody knows that's his fault. So hopefully this week, I hope he owned up to it to the players because that loss was on him. You're in Denver. You have one of the better kickers in the NFL. I would say if you get that ball back with 40 seconds, you're probably winning that game. Because they were down by 2. All you need to do is get to the 40. And, where the game ended, they were at almost the 50-yard line. Yeah. And that was with 20 seconds left on the clock. So, on Vic Fangio, but we'll move along.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Mismanagement. And then Falcons and Cowboys. I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys for this one. I agree. Agreeing with Philanthropist here. Good team. The Cowboys are. And I'm still a little unsure about the Falcons. Moving on to, I know, a game that Young E will be watching very closely. I will let him have the first word on this game. And that is Daniel Jones versus Mitch Trubisky, the New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears. All right, this is a team, the Chicago Bears, that has a defense that could be great. They could be one of the top defenses in the league. And then you have the Giants, who I don't like their defense at all. And I think both teams, they're full of holes. Both teams that are probably going to be on the bottom spectrum of the league. Young E may feel different about that. But this will be an interesting game nonetheless. And it'll be fun to watch because it's always fun to watch Mitch. Always. So what the fuck do you think is going to happen in this game, Young E?
I got Mitch on the TV right now, bro. Get me hyped up.
Are you going to call it right now guaranteed dub for Chicago?
Money Mitch, I am giving the Bears the dub, but not on Mitch's back. Mitch did play well in week 1. If you saw the fourth quarter, he did play very well. I think he was like 8 for 10 with the 140 yards and 3 tubs, and he really brought them back and won them that game. And DeAndre Swift kind of won them that game too. That was really bad. One of the worst drops I've ever seen, but he's a rookie. We'll let it go. Not his fault. It's just part of the game. But Mitch looked good. And I think if they can get fourth quarter Mitch for an entire game, this team is dangerous. And by dangerous, I mean potential to go 8-8. So,
hell yeah. Fuck with that.
I think actually this team in my mind right now is going to be 2-0, and fitting that dangerous category that I just gave it. They are going to be 2-0, and they are going to be pushing that 8-8, which honestly this year at a 9-8, you're still in the hunt at 8-8. You're at an 8-9 seed, so they might be in the hunt at the end of the year. I don't know. I think this is a better team than people think because I do think they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they have young guys on that defense that are progressing. So I'm excited to see how this team pans out. But 2-0 for the Bears. I think they will win the game by 4 because the Giants' defense fucking sucks.
I'm going to give my quick word on this before I let Philanthropist go. I think this is going to be a dub by the Giants. I like the way that Daniel Jones looked last week, and I think that it's going to take some time. No preseason for Jason Garrett to get his offense implemented. Not saying it's going to be a great offense that he's implementing, but I think they got some good young talent. I think Saquon Barkley is going to come out and have a big game after kind of stinking it up last week. But at the end of the day, I think these are two teams that have a lot of holes. They can improve in a lot of different areas. I think it'll be a close one, but Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, they're going to take it home from New York. Philanthropist, what you think?
So I also have the Bears. I think, all credit where it's due. I trash Mitchell Trubisky a lot, but he had a great game against the Lions last week. It was really a fantastic fourth quarter comeback. I'm watching his highlights now with Ethan because he insists on putting him on. And he's making some good throws, for him. I'll say that much. But, a broken clock is right twice a year, so I'm not going to get too ahead of myself with saying that Mitchell has arrived by any means. With this game, it really comes down to my lack of confidence in the Giants. And, I'm not even trying to really hate on the Giants. It's just, like we said in our preview, they're rebuilding. They're trying to figure some stuff out. There's going to be some growing pains. I think the Bears have a better team. I think they have a better coach. And I think they have a better offense right now. So I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go by 4 or more.
All right. We just took our break. We are back. Last game we talked about was the Giants and Bears, and now we're back with some cinnamon rolls. Looking real tasty. They smell great. I like the way the glaze looks. Glaze always looks great. Anyways, back to the sports. This is actually one of my favorite games this week. I know Young E's going to love it. I don't know how Philanthropist feels about it. Jaguars, Titans. This game, I think, has the potential to be close. I still think the Titans are going to get the dub here. I like what the Titans are doing. They got Derrick Henry as the do-it-all kind of guy. I mean, he's mostly just running down the fucking middle and punishing people, but I like the way Tannehill's doing the play action, and I love that defense. It actually looks like Jadeveon Clowney's going to have even just barely having any time with the team. He actually looked really effective on last Sunday. And I think the Titans, like we just said earlier, I think they're a top 3 team in the AFC. And I just find it hard for the Jaguars, who don't have that much, to get a dub here. But we have Minshew, man. That might be all they need, and I respect that. Young E,
Give me 1 second. Let me get some more.
after you take your drink of water, I want you to tell me, can Minshew pull off the fucking upset this week and take on the Tennessee Titans? He's putting it on, the mask. Get it going. Okay. Over the beard. There we go.
No.
Say it again. Say it again.
No. 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 I'm here to tell Jordan that as much as I liked what Minshew did in week 1, and as much as I liked the Jaguars in week 1, they are not even going to compete with a team like the Tennessee Titans. They are one of the best teams in the NFL. They are all around good. They have a good defense. They have a fantastic coach. They have a great running back. They have a serviceable quarterback. And they have good receivers. Even with A.J. Brown out, good receivers. We saw Corey Davis really step up last week. Blowout.
Whoa. How much?
14 points. And I don't think that Minshew plays bad. But their team just isn't good enough to compete with a team like the Titans. And that's just the reality of it. I like them, but you just can't compete with it. It's like if they were playing the Ravens. You can't compete with a team like that.
So Philanthropist, he sees this as a blowout. Titans taking on the Jaguars. Yeah. Pounding it in the cheeks, regardless of Minshew magic.
That's hot.
Yeah. But where do you see this game going? I also said, by the way, that the Tennessee Titans would get the dub, but I think it's actually going to be a lot closer than what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. So Ethan set the line at 14. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Jaguars to cover. I think,
a little closer, you know.
I've seen, with Minshew, Minshew is just, he plays good. I don't know what the fuck it is, but he just 75+% completion rate, 2+ touchdowns. I think it's going to be.
Okay, cool. There.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Jaguars are going to be competitive. I think it's going to be something that is within, 14 points, maybe 10-point lead for the Titans. But yeah, like you guys said, the Jaguars are not good enough to really compete to win this game. So it's going to be Titans by 10-ish, I would say.
What I love about this, though. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm enjoying this great cinnamon roll. What I love about this game, though, and what I love about the Jaguars is that regardless of who they're playing, in my opinion, there's always that chance that Minshew could just pull it out his ass and get them the dub.
Right. And
that's going to make any game interesting, and he's one of my favorite players to watch because of that. All right. That was our analysis. Titans-Jags. We all got Titans taking the dub, but I'm not surprised if Jags can pull it out. Young E, not so much. Next game, I think it's always a good game. No matter how bad the Lions are, they always seem to put up a good fight against the Packers. I think this will be a pretty good game, but I still do have this bad man.
He's a bad
man, Aaron Rodgers. He's going to come through and get this dub again. They're going to start out hot at 2-0. But I do think it's going to be a good game nonetheless, just because they're divisional rivals. But other than that, I'm not too big a fan of the Lions. Philanthropist, what do you think about this game?
Packers by 14. The Packers are going to blow them out. They're going to blow them out.
Just no hope.
No hope. No. That Lions team, they're broken from that defeat last week, and I don't blame them. They gave up a 20-point lead, and then they dropped a wide-open touchdown in the end zone against a team that, frankly, compared to the Packers, is just not up to par. The Packers, basically, I know the score says it was closer, but they were leading by 2 touchdowns for most of that game against the Vikings. I think the Vikings are way better than the Lions. I don't see an avenue in which the Packers don't do the exact same thing or more to the Lions.
Yeah, I respect that. I agree. Young E, what do you have to say about this game? Do you see any, since this one seems to be pretty clear cut from the both of us, I don't know about you. You could go in a different direction here, but how about you throw out maybe a fantasy person in this game?
Every single offensive player on the Green Bay Packers will contribute something this game. Okay, here's what I saw out of the Packers week 1.
And we're talking about defensive coach Patricia.
Here's what I saw out of the Packers week 1. They are far and above the best team, the most secure team in the NFC, even after all the fucking bullshit. And it makes me so mad because I kind of wanted them to take a step back after last year because, I don't know, they really played like dog shit in the playoffs. But this year, so far, what I saw and what I'm going to see in week 2 is just Aaron Rodgers on another level. And actually, the backup receivers being somewhat decent. Valdez-Scantling contributing. Alan Lazard contributing a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but enough to get them by. If Devontae Adams can keep running routes against double coverage, who the fuck cares? You can target him 15 times a game and he's going to catch 13 in double coverage. They can triple coverage. He's that good at route running, it doesn't fucking matter. Aaron Jones is good. Okay? They just got it figured out. They're a good team. I think they're going to go 13-3 or better. And they're going to blow the fuck out of the Lions. I don't think this is going to be close
They're
at all.
going to blow them?
I think it is going to be 38.
They're going to blow them?
38-21.
They're going to blow them? Okay.
38-21.
Yeah. Yes, I too believe the Packers will blow the fuck out of the Lions. And I'm excited for it. I like watching Aaron Rodgers. I thought he had a very good game. And I only seen it one fucking time. I didn't see any more highlights of it, but he had one of the best throws I've ever seen him throw. He had this corner of the end zone, not the back corner, but the front corner.
I saw that one too.
It was a fucking dart. It went zoom. And I enjoyed it. I love Aaron Rodgers, and I hope he gets another dub here this Sunday. Next game is another divisional matchup. Excuse me. That's not very good in the mask. Anyways.
That thing is steaming, folks. Steaming.
Anyways, the next divisional game, I actually think this will be a good game. I'm actually really interested to see how this is going to turn out because we will get to see if one team is actually going to live up to the hype this year. And then this is the Panthers versus the Buccaneers. I want to see how Teddy does against Tom Brady, how he's going to match up, how their games are going to look. And I'm also interested to see if Brady, those pick sixes, is he going to have 4 consecutive games of pick sixes? Is Gronkowski going to get more involved? He did a lot more blocking than actually running routes from what I seen last week. And he did look a little slow, but we got to take into account there was no preseason. So I understand it's going to take him a little while to get back into the routine of playing on Sunday, especially being out for a year probably. I think he was smoking weed all fucking year last year. And that's fine. That's what I would have been doing too. I wish I could be doing that. Imagine the bud he could buy too with all that money. Ooh, boy. Anyways, getting off topic. Panthers, Buccaneers. I actually am going to go with this one and say that the Panthers are going to pull out this upset. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's going to take a while for the Buccaneers to get it together and figure it out as a team. It's a huge adjustment, obviously, for Tom Brady. And it's a huge adjustment for anybody that's going to be on a team with Tom Brady. So I think Christian McCaffrey is just going to come out. He's going to have a big game like he usually does. Teddy's going to show us what he usually does, just be consistent. He's going to be safe, not turn the ball over a whole bunch. I like the way he played against the Raiders last week. The Buccaneers defense is obviously going to be a little bit better than the Raiders. But I think it's going to be a close game, and the Panthers will edge them out. Philanthropist, who you got for this one?
I'm going with the Bucs. I think Jordan has a compulsive need to want Tom Brady to lose.
Yeah.
And look, it's again, no disrespect to the Panthers. Like I said with the Giants, they're just a rebuilding team that they're a little farther along in the process, so they can be more competitive for sure. But with the Bucs, I just think they have better matchups almost across the board here. I know Godwin is out, Mike Evans is hurt. Regardless of that, they have a good offense with plenty of weapons, so if Brady can just not be horrible, I think they'll be fine. But this is a really important game for the Bucs. I'd say this is a must-win for them. If they lose this, 1, I think they're in really bad spot for their playoff race, and then 2, I think Bruce Arians would officially be on the hot seat if that were the case. Not rationally. Bruce Arians is a great coach. I'm just saying, with the expectations of that franchise and with the amount of penalties and with the poor discipline this team and last year's team appears to have, I'm just saying the questions are going to start. I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying it's going to start happening in the media.
Boo.
Hey, I'm just telling you how it's going to be. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that conversation is going to start happening.
So, what's your score on this game?
I think the Bucs are really going to have to fight for this one. I think it's going to be within 1 touchdown.
Okay. I like that. What you think, Youngie?
In this game, I see one high-powered offense, and I see one hurt, old, beat down, rusty offense.
Whoa.
And I am going with the high-powered offense to win this game, even though their defense is god-awful. High-powered offense to take this game 30-24. I don't think the Bucks have it together quite yet. And I think with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans being out, their offense right now is not high-powered. It's in the middle of the pack. And as I said in week 1, do not sleep on this Panthers offense. As I said in week 1, they will be a consistent top 15, borderline top 10 offense throughout this year. And what did they show in week 1? I think they're top 5, or they're close. They're up there. I know they're in top 10. So, high-powered offense. Panthers going to be 2-0. I think the Panthers might be pushing for a playoff spot if they're 2-0 after this week. Their defense sucks and they need to improve it, but you know, their offense is really good. They've got some stars and they've got some guys who can contribute like Robbie Anderson. So I like this team 30-24 final score.
I wouldn't quite call the Panthers high-powered offense just yet, but I can see where you're coming from. You make good points.
High-powered offense.
Yeah, Mike didn't even pick you up on that one.
Good.
Wow. Okay.
You can't do that. What's going on?
So, I think that's going to be a very interesting one. That's going to be one I'm definitely going to be focusing on a little bit more this Sunday. Because it really would be something. We always see quarterbacks, late in their career, they go somewhere and they may disappoint, or they turn out to be someone like Peyton Manning, who has still another Super Bowl in him and gets it done. I'm just really interested to see how Tom Brady's going to turn out. He's obviously the GOAT. And he has, anytime he steps onto the field, he has the potential to outsmart everybody else on the other team. So we'll see how it goes. And the next game is one that's actually interesting too. The Rams and the Eagles. We have Goff versus Wentz. I think this will be a close game. I have the Rams here edging it out. I did like what I saw from the Rams last week against the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys were down Van Der Esch and probably suffered a little bit on defense because of that. But you take Van Der Esch off, still probably about what the Eagles are at defensively. And, man, I want to love Wentz. I do. I think he has all the potential in the world, but it seems like every other week he does something, man, that just makes you lose confidence in him. And it's really a shame. He has all the tools to put it together, and last week they gave up how big of a lead? 17-point lead to the Washington football team? Are you fucking for real? And by the way, I want to say that I was really happy for Washington football team and Ron Rivera getting that dub. It's a great story there. But, yeah, I'm not confident in the Eagles. I think the Rams got this one. I actually got the Rams winning this one probably by like 10 points. Young E, who do you have winning this game and why?
Rams by 10. Very good things week 1 from the Rams. Very bad things week 1 from the Eagles. Eagles still look like they haven't built enough around Carson Wentz. Defense looks weak. I just want to know where the fuck their money's at. I'm very confused.
Money laundering.
No receivers. Miles Sanders, if he's healthy, he's good, but he's young. I still don't know. They have no money in the running back position.
None.
And what's up with the defense? Like, they're playing Fletcher Cox on the defense? A good amount, yeah.
He's cool, though.
He's cool, but outside of that, what the fuck else they got on the defense? They got Darius Slay last year. for fucking.
Yeah.
He's been garbage for them. So
Chill.
he has not been good for them at all.
It's one game.
No, he was there some last year too. He got traded at the trade deadline.
Okay. Well, you can't expect him to be good jumping in midseason either.
He has not been his normal self, and he wasn't his last season with the Lions either. But 27-17 is my final score. Rams over the Eagles. And I will say also, I'm still not that high on the Rams. I think they're a 10-6 at best team.
That's pretty high to me. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. I'll take that any day.
I don't know. Some people, I don't know. Some power rankings, bro. I just be seeing shit.
I don't be fucking with no fucking power rankings. That shit's all for fucking clicks. Especially putting the Steelers over the Ravens. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Philanthropist, who'd you got for this game, man? You see Wentz stepping it up here or not?
No, something's wrong with the Eagles. I agree with everything that you both said. I got nothing really new to offer. I think the Rams are just better. The Eagles have a lot of questions to answer. Like you guys said, where the hell is the money? Show me the money. Why is no one showing up? Like, what is going on here? No, it's not. It's scaled based off the salary cap changes. Like, I can't name 5 players off the Eagles that aren't Wentz or Fletcher Cox right now off the top of my head. I really can't. Yeah, there you go.
Lane Johnson, Slay,
Miles Sanders.
Jason Peters.
Jason Peters is on a nothing deal.
I like Jason Peters.
See, like, we're talking linemen. Like, no offense, we love our
We're talking linemen.
We love our big boys, but come on, top 5 players, and you can't even name like 3 skill players.
Yeah.
Like, that's concerning. So, no, I got Rams. I think the Rams are in a better spot. I think they're chugging along. They got that new stadium. Rams by 10.
And I actually liked how McVay looked back on his game last week. And I know
he needs to wear his mask, man.
Yeah, wear your fucking mask.
Wear your mask.
But can we speak about Andy Reid with his face shield just for a quick second?
My king, Andy Reid.
That dude really needs to have some windshield wipers on that shit.
I want to be loved like cheeseburgers are loved by Andy Reid, bro. He talks about it in every interview that he just wants a cheeseburger.
Hell yeah. I fuck with it. All right, we'll move on to our last 10 a.m. game. 10 a.m. for us here on the West Coast. Okay. I fuck with that. Let's get it. Anyways, this will be a decent game. I still think it'll be a blowout in a way, depending on how one quarterback plays, but it's the Vikings and the Colts. Phillip Rivers really let me down last week. It wasn't really anything new. Typical Phillip Rivers shit. But you were just hoping maybe in a new franchise, new coach, new start, he may be a little bit better in the fourth quarter. That did not happen, although Minshew did happen, so maybe that's just all it was. We never know. We'll never know until after this game. But the Vikings, they're coming off they got dominated. They got dominated by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And I think they're going to go into this game here looking to rebound and rebound hard. They're going to grab that motherfucker with both hands, and they're swinging elbows. I think they're going to come out for blood this game, and I think it's going to be an easy dub. I see the Vikings winning this one 17 points. Philanthropist, who you got and why?
I love it, man. I'm with you. I think the Vikings are going to bounce back here. Phillip Rivers is just washed, and that's sad. No, he's washed. Just call a spade a spade. It's fine. He had a great career. Long career, Hall of Fame career, but he's done. I think he's a Hall of Famer personally, but I went to school in San Diego, so we have conflicting opinions there. I think he was great. I think he was better as a quarterback than Eli Manning. Obviously, it comes down to Super Bowls. Eli has 2. That's another discussion, so I can understand why you split hairs. With that being said,
Eli showed up big moments. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Twice in like 20 years, but whatever. That's all it takes. That's all the history books are going to remember, and that's fine. With that being said, I think the Colts are going to be held back until they make that switch to Brissett. So I'm going with the Vikings. I think they're a good team. think they had a bad start, and they're going to bounce back this week. I have Vikings by 10.
I like that. I like that a lot. I need to get the Kirk Cousins. I like that. Or you like that. I need to get that on the soundboard. But yeah, young E, how do you see this game going? And
Vikings
okay.
by 17. Pick 6 by Anthony Harris.
Whoa, we're calling out specific plays now.
I'm saying 3 picks by Phillip Rivers this game.
3 interceptions.
He is definitely washed.
This is at home, by the way, for the Colts.
I don't care. Phillip Rivers has been washed for 5 years. He's fucking
5 years.
He's fucking awful in the clutch. Awful. And me and my brother talk about this every weekend because he's a Chargers fan. And this weekend, we were watching the game, and he goes, "Are you ready for Phillip to throw a pick?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And what did he do? He threw a pick and gave the Jaguars the dub. He is terrible. The Vikings, their back is against the wall, and they need to show up. I think there is some talk within their beat reporters that I have read that they're worried about the team without Stefanski. So I think they're going to come out and want to show that they are still a dominant offense, and I think they will put on a fucking show, and I see a 37-20 dub.
I like it a lot. And nothing would make me happier than seeing some more Viking success.
Backs against the wall. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, they got something to prove, but so does Phillip Rivers. So we'll see how it plays out. We got 2 teams that want to show that they're really about it. And I'm fairly confident one of the teams just don't really got it.
Colts are not a playoff contender. Vikings are. Backs against the wall.
I like it. And that's going to take us into transitioning into our first afternoon game. Yeah, I don't like that headline.
Is Cooper Cup still your little Cooper Cup? No.
Oh, my gosh.
Not
Okay. So the first afternoon game we're going to talk about is one that should actually be fairly interesting because the Washington football team performed a little bit better than expected in week 1, albeit it was against the Eagles, who have been shit as of recently. And, just always seem to fail when it comes to their expectations. They're laughing about some shit on the TV with a bear. It's... we're looking at a fantasy show here, and for some reason having a bear on screen. And it's hysterical. But I'm liking this game. I think that this... so it's Arizona Cardinals, Washington football team. I think this is actually a pretty good matchup, considering how well the Washington football team played in week 1. But I think this is a chance for the Cardinals to really step it up and show that they're ready, and they can potentially go 2-0 here. I like the way Kyler looked in week 1. Now, Washington football team is going to have a little bit more tape on him and how much more he's going to be running this year, so we'll see how it goes. But, my little Kyler Murray is going to put up some big fucking points. He's going to bring home another dub. They're going to start out 2-0. I think this can be a game where it's like 35-17, but I really don't want to hate on the Washington football team too much. I like what Ron Rivera is doing for that team. So it could be a close one, but at the end of the day, I still have the Cardinals being the better team, and I want to see what more D-Hop can do. That man's exciting, and I love it so much. Cardinals on the up and up. What you think, Philanthropist, after watching them dominate your team last week?
Wow, dominate. I guess that's a way to put it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cardinals are better. I think the football team got really lucky in the fact that they played an Eagles team that just was they really bought in on dropping the ball. The only person I've seen buy in on dropping the ball like that last week was DeAndre Swift. It was really an inspiring effort by the Eagles on how much they wanted to throw that game. So overall, the football team, they're on the up and up, great coach now, and they're improving. But overall, I think the Cardinals, with Kyler Murray, they got something going there. And I think they're going to slice and dice that defense that's not that good to begin with. And I think they're going to get a 10-point dub.
Little Kyler Murray, let's fucking get it!
All right, so I'm going to say Cardinals by a wide margin. I think Washington showed out in week 1, and I think they are a team that can compete. But I think the Cardinals are legit, and they're a playoff team this year.
They're kind of sexy.
This year, this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
I was thinking next year for sure, and potentially this year. This year for sure, this is a playoff team. NFC West, 3 playoff teams, 100%. Cardinals, 35-17.
Okay. I like it. Cardinals were one of the teams last year that every week I would just put them on, even if it was for like 5 minutes. So I'll definitely be tuning in to this game here.
Washington's backfield sucks, by the way. They got to figure that the fuck out.
Poo. Anyways, next game here. I think it's another blowout. I hate to say it because I like Tyrod, but we got the Chiefs versus the Chargers. My homeboy, potentially another 4-touchdown game, another 5-touchdown game, maybe a 6. No, I'm just playing. But I think, okay, maybe it's not that far off. But I think this is going to be potentially a blowout, but it is a divisional opponent. Young E, what you think of the Chiefs and the Chargers?
So I'll be watching this game because, as I said, my brother's a Chargers fan, so we'll have it on our second TV in here. This game is going to be awful. The one thing I do kind of hope I see out of this game is the Chargers open up their playbook. And if that means they're bringing in Justin Herbert, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I'd like them to keep Tyrod in, but obviously what I saw last week was they're not willing to open up the playbook. They're not willing to throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. And you cannot play in the NFL like that in today's day and age. So I think they need to step it up. And I think playing against the Chiefs is a good opportunity because they're going to get blown the fuck out, and it doesn't matter. So 42-10, Chiefs, not even close, never going to be close. But hope to see maybe Justin Herbert or them really bring out the offense with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. I think really this is going to be a blowout from the Chiefs. I think the Chargers also benefited from playing a shit team in week 1 in the Bengals. This is something I wanted to say earlier, but we kind of moved on from it. I'm just not a big fan of the Bengals at all. I think they suck. I call Zach Taylor Zack Snyder because he's all hype, but he sucks at directing.
Whoa.
So I really, really am not high on the Bengals or anybody who struggles to defeat them. I have the same opinion of the Bengals that I do of the Jets, to be honest with you. The only difference is that I think Joe Burrow is actually good and Sam Darnold probably isn't. So that's the only hair that I split. They have good personnel, yeah, but I mean, so do the Jets when they're all healthy. Outside of receiver, I mean, they have Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. They have a decent tight end, decent receivers.
But they have the best defender of all time, Adam Gase.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe you're disrespecting Zach Taylor and putting him in the same category as Adam Gase. He has not been bad for nearly that.
I wouldn't say.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
For one season.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Bad for like 6.
All I'm saying is, what's his career record? That's all I want to know, because right now he's 1-17. That's all I'm saying, bro. I don't got to say anything else but that.
2.
When was he 2-14 last year?
They were 2-14 last year.
Okay, my mistake. 2-16. Marked improvement.
He'll be 16-16 soon.
Okay.
16-16. Let's relax.
We got the Batman versus Superman football team.
But yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. This game probably won't be close, and if it is, no matter what, I think it's going to be the Chiefs, barring any injuries of any sort. But yeah, excited. Always exciting to watch Mahomes. We'll see what he does. And going now next to our last afternoon game, one that I know Young E is going to be hyped about. Also, I know you're hyped that this is a chance for Lamar to prove the doubters wrong in the fact that he is, in fact, better than Deshaun Watson. So we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans here in week 2. Two teams that have a lot of high hopes for the season. One will probably only reach that, and I think that's the Ravens. I think this is going to be a dub for the Ravens. Young E, how do you see this game going, and will it at least be a close one?
Blowout. Similar to last week's game with the Browns, I think it will be an absolute blowout. I think the Texans will put up more points because they're good on offense, or not really, but Will Fuller looked good week 1. David Johnson looked okay week 1. And that boy Deshaun Watson is always a threat. But their team sucks, and we're going to blow them out the water. Their defense sucks. It's going to be completely exposed this week, just like it was last week. And, I worry about the Ravens more dumping on points late in games like that than the Chiefs, because the Ravens have such a strong rushing attack. So when they're just running the ball to run the clock out, they're still scoring like the Chiefs do when they throw, but the Chiefs stop throwing at some point. And all due respect to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he looked amazing week 1. But, I just think the Ravens with the four-headed rushing attack really have something going. So, absolute blowout. I have it 38-13. Could be a little bit closer than that, but I think it'll be a blowout. And I'm excited to see Lamar and see if he can continue his beautiful deep passing that he had in week 1.
Lamar doing a great job of taking it deep. Gotta love it. All right, philanthropist. Okay. Young E said give it to him deep. Fair enough. You gotta respect it. Or how do you see this game going? Do you maybe see a potential upset here?
This is going to make Ethan so happy. I watched a little bit of that Browns-Ravens game week 1. The only question mark I had about this team going forward was Lamar Jackson's ability to throw deep. Showed me that in spades in week 1. I think this is by far the best team in the league this year. I'm calling 14-2. I'm calling Super Bowl.
Whoa.
And I'm calling a Super Bowl victory
Whoa.
for the Baltimore Ravens. And I think they're going to handle this shittily coached, I said shittily, I made up a word, shittily coached Bill O'Brien team. I think they're going to blow them up by 20-plus points. I'm on the Ravens bandwagon. I'm calling it now. I'm taking them every week. I'm taking them every week in the playoffs. And I'm going to put some money on them in the Super Bowl this year.
Whoa.
Especially with Mark Andrews now looking like he's an elite tight end. I want to see more out of Hollywood. I want to see one more receiver emerge. And then I'm set. You can lock it in.
I want to clarify and emphasize how big of a deal it is that philanthropists might be betting some money on a team here. Philanthropist is one of the best financial advisors that I've ever met in my life. Okay. I've met very few of them, to be fair, but philanthropist, very sound with his financials. So for him to go out of his way to say that he's going to go Casino Jones and bet on a team, he's real high on him, and you got to love it. So Super Bowl.
Super Bowl champions.
Whoa, okay. And I will say they looked really good. I really do think, really even regardless of the NFC, I think right now it's Chiefs or Ravens. It's looking that way to me. And I know that kind of sucks coming from you as a Niners fan.
Yeah, I'm just not with the Niners. You got to have a franchise quarterback. That's just the way it is
Whoa.
nowadays. Yeah, I mean, is that really a hot take?
Whoa.
I mean, I don't think
43.
He is not a franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he sucks, but he's not a franchise quarterback.
As much of a franchise quarterback as Baker Mayfield.
Whoa.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. All right. So we have what I think is, I said it before we even started our analysis of these games, our predictions of these games, I should say. And that is my favorite game of the week. It is a rematch of a Super Bowl that fucking is just iconic because of some play calling, and Beast Mode didn't get the ball. But anyways, we have the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. We have Cam Newton in his new home looking real good, albeit against a Miami Dolphins team that doesn't look like they're quite ready to compete. And we also have Russell Wilson on the other side, who I think is going to be the MVP this season just based off of week 1. He looks like he's playing with a chip on his shoulder to the extent of he wants his fucking credit. he's one of the most underrated players that I've ever seen. I've been always really high, very high on him, but people always have him like if they have a top 5, they'll put him in the top 5, but he's number 5. And sometimes I don't think that's right. He does a lot of things that goes beyond to just throwing the ball well. He's a great leader. Some people might say he's a little bit too nice, but hey, it gets the team going. They win fucking games, and it fits well with what Pete Carroll is trying to do. I think his athleticism is even a little underrated too. He can make some plays with his feet. I'm liking this game a lot. And I hate to say it, but I think that we're going to see I guess we can kind of say it's an upset because I do see the Seahawks as a potential Super Bowl contender, but I think the Patriots are going to take this one. I think Cam's going to continue to go out there and show that he has something to prove. And we all know, he'll never say it, but we all know Bill Belichick has a chip on his shoulder as well. He wants to show that he can do it without Tom Brady. And this is probably the most fun he's going to have coaching than he's had in a long time because he's probably found a new focus. And if you watched the game at all last week, Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, they look like they were super excited to have somebody new under center. Just change it up. And, as long as Bill's been doing it, especially with the same team, changing it up might be good for him. It's unfortunate for the Dolphins because a change up like this may keep him along from retiring for a little bit longer. And that sucks, but yeah, man, I see the Patriots coming out, and I don't know if you can really say it's an upset because both teams are predicted to be pretty damn good. But the Seahawks, I think, are a better team, but I think the Patriots are going to pull it out here. I like what they're doing, and I like Cam. So, Philanthropist, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah.
As a Niners fan, you see the Seahawks quite often.
Yes.
How do you see this game going?
You talked a lot about using the term pull out. The Patriots need to freaking pull out with using Cam in these designed runs. I'm very concerned. Okay, Cam was great last week, and there was a lot of designed runs, whether it was read options or quarterback draws. They need to chill out because Cam, notoriously throughout his career, he takes big hits because he's a big guy. He's built like a middle linebacker. He's an easy target to hit. And both in the field, like during the play, he gets hit. And then he also always finds his way into some type of scuffle or shenanigan with the other team as well, where they're trying to do...
He got his chain snatched.
Yeah, they're trying to go inflict some bodily harm on him. And I'm telling you, they need to relax because people will forget, but with the Panthers, Cam didn't get cut because he was sorry. Cam got cut because he had two very concerning injuries in the same year.
Yeah.
He had a shoulder injury that was limiting his range of motion on throws, and he had a bad ankle injury. And I'm concerned that if McDaniels and Belichick have too much fun with Cam, keep sending him on these design runs, he's going to get nicked. And that's what I'm really concerned about. That I want to see more passing action there because he looks like, as far as passing the ball, he looks fine to me. He looks back to somewhat of his old self.
Wouldn't you say, though, if there's any coach that knows how to take care of a quarterback, it would be Bill Belichick?
Yeah, but if you're putting him in harm's way, you never know what's going to happen. Like, if he's on a read option and he keeps it, it doesn't matter how much you try to protect him. If he gets hit, he gets hit. Fair
enough.
But like I said, that's hypothetical. Maybe he's fine. Maybe he gets hit all season and he's totally fine. We don't know that. Either way,
he looked good in the gym in the offseason.
I bet he did. Yeah, he's huge. With that being said, though, I think the Seahawks are just a better team here. I really like them. It looks like last year they struggled a lot with how to balance their running attack and who to give the ball to the most. I think they've really settled on Chris Carson at this point as their lead guy. Their receivers are still really good. Tyler Lockett is steady as usual. DK Metcalf looks really, really good and looks like he was a guy that I was really wrong about. And then also Greg Olsen, he got a touchdown last week. Huh? Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was really against DK Metcalf in the draft. I'll take that L. That's fine. But yeah, the Seahawks defense is great as always. Jamal Adams looked fantastic. Their offense looks really energized, and with Russell Wilson, you could have a bag of potato chips out there and he's still going to get you 70 yards. So I'm taking the Seahawks, but it's going to be a close competitive game.
Is this your game of the week?
No, I'll tell you what my game of the week is when we get to the last one.
Okay.
I don't know what the Monday night game is. I'll have to wait until after that.
Yeah, we'll get to that game.
This game, I agree with Phil. I think the Seahawks are just a better team. I think them and the Packers are the elite teams in the NFC this year. I think the Niners will creep up there towards the end of the season, maybe. But they got to stay healthy, and they have a tough time doing that. They did last year, too.
Please. Thank you.
But overall, I think
Perfect.
I just think the Seahawks are a better team, and I think they're going to take this dub. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Cam's going to keep the Patriots in it, but I think Russell Wilson is too good this year, and he is probably going to win the MVP this year. Rightfully so.
I like it. And I could see this being one of those games that, like I had the Patriots winning this one. I hardly ever do that. I'd like to go against the Patriots, obviously. It's a divisional opponent and for my favorite team. Fuck off with the kickers. But I could see this, potentially being a game where the Seahawks look at themselves and be like, oh, maybe we're a little bit vulnerable. The Patriots do a good job of finding out what those vulnerabilities are. And then they step up and, the Seahawks could go maybe 14-2 after taking a loss this week. It's just how good that team is. I think it's going to be a very close game. It could go either way, in my opinion. And that takes us to our final game to talk about. And it is going to be the very first game played in Las Vegas for the NFL. And that is the New Orleans Saints will be visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. I will probably be saying Oakland Raiders for the next 3 years. I'm not going to get over that for a while. But I think that's actually going to be a pretty interesting game. The Raiders, we'll see if it's going to be, last week was maybe a fluke with how good their offense looked. Henry Ruggs looked like he was getting some great separation. Looks like a great pickup by the Raiders there in this year's draft. And maybe they'll have a newfound energy and get a dub just like the Rams did last week in their new stadium. But the Saints also, I thought, looked pretty good last week, especially their defense. So we'll see how they go up against each other. But I think the Las Vegas Raiders start the year 2-0. I see an upset here up in their new stadium. Young E, who the fuck you got?
So after we discussed, I also believe this is my game of the week. I am really excited to watch this game. And I have a couple reasons why. One, I loved what I saw out of the Raiders in week 1. They look good. Their defense looks shit, but they'll get it together. They got it together last year. But they look really, really, really good on offense. And Derek Carr looks like he has it back together, which is what they need. The Saints have an elite defense, probably top 5 in the league. And I'm interested to see what this week is going to show me is, does Drew Brees still have it? Because I remember back in the early days, maybe not even the early days, but like 6-7 years ago, when he would have these no-name receivers and be able to spread the ball around 6 people for 320 yards. So we're going to see if Drew Brees still has it. And in my opinion, I think he has a little bit, but I don't think he has enough. And I think the Raiders are going to take this game because Michael Thomas is out. And that is 100% why. He serves as a lot as blocking, too. People sleep on wide receivers as blocking, but it really does make a difference, especially when you have a speed back like Kamara who's out on the edge a lot.
I was going to ask you, you're talking about the decline of Drew Brees. Because last year it seemed as if the decline really didn't start to happen until the second half of the season. Do you see, as the year has gone by, he's a year older, do you see that maybe coming up a little bit quicker? Is that what you're kind of insinuating here?
I think he knows this is his last year, and I do think he's going to take it as such, but I also think in knowing that this is his last year, he might preserve himself a bit for those final games and that final playoff run. We all know this is Drew's last year. I know he's got that contract with CBS. Yeah, I think he's done after this year, but I think he knows that he has a good enough team that if they skate through the season 11-6 and he can really turn it on for one last run in the playoffs, they have a chance to make a run at the Super Bowl. So, I think he might preserve himself a bit. I do think he's declining, but we might see a special Drew Brees in the playoffs for one last run.
How great would it be to see him pick up his son again with the Lombardi Trophy? And his son, how old do you think his son is? Like 10 now?
His sons are old now.
Yeah. So that would be crazy. But yeah, Philanthropist, how do you see this? Is this also your game of the week?
Yes, this is the game I was referring to as my game of the week. I'm upset that Ethan stole my thunder, but great minds.
Fuck you, you fucking bitch.
Great minds think alike. This is a great game. I think I'm really jealous of the Raiders organization right now because it seemed like things were in flux and out of place. And, what is John Gruden doing? But Mike Mayock has put together a great team. They seem energized. They seem ready to play. I love the way they looked week 1. I think their offense is clicking. There is Jonathan Jacobs, their running back. He's playing fantastic, taking a lot of pressure off of Derek Carr. Derek Carr looks like he's going to keep that starting job or he's playing his ass off for it. Love Henry Ruggs, like Ethan said. Their defense, I really am actually high on their defense. I know they didn't play well, but I love Cleveland Farrell. I love Jonathan Abrams. And I'm really also expecting an upset for the Raiders in their first game in Las Vegas. It sucks they had to leave Oakland, but I actually think it's dope that Las Vegas is starting to get these sports teams there. It's like the entertainment capital of the world. I think it's going to be great. The Raiders are going to be a showcase there, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Saints and the Raiders are both going to throw some haymakers. I have question marks about Drew Brees. I don't think he looked that good last week. And with Michael Thomas out, I think it's going to affect the flow of their offense, and I think the Raiders are going to take whatever home field advantage there could be with no fans and gut out a nice W.
As a Star Wars fan, are you okay with their stadium being called the Death Star?
I am, yeah. I am, because, I think the Raiders fans, they deserve a Star Wars moniker. They're really, really good fans. And I like the little...
Definitely dark side.
Yeah, 100% dark. And they know it, too.
Yeah.
And they embrace it. And I like that. They can call themselves the Empire, the Death Star, I don't care. Whatever they want. But I just hope that they still keep the black hole. The fan group by the end zone, I hope they still keep that tradition alive. I don't even know if you can call Gruden Palpatine. I think I would call him more of a Jar Jar Binks type of guy.
Whoa. That's Philanthropist's hot take.
So
let's go.
There you go.
Well, was there one owner for Al Davis? Would Al Davis then be Palpatine?
Oh, yeah, Al Davis is 100% Palpatine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's still potentially running the show, huh?
Yep. I'm going to say right now, Derek Carr is C-3PO.
Wow.
Give him some more respect than that.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to watch this game. This is probably the most excited I've been about a Raiders team in a while. Be honest with you, I've never really been the biggest Raiders fan. I grew up with all three of us, we've grown up around a lot of Raider fans being here in California, especially Northern California here. And it's just, you kind of develop into being a Raider hater is what, you get kind of called. And I kind of fell into that trap for a while, still a little bit, lingering in there for me, but I like the way that this team is turning it around, and I do like Derek Carr and what he represents. He seems to be a great leader, regardless of what you think about him crying on the field that one time. But yeah, I like him. I like the team. I think that Gruden is finally implementing his culture and what he really wants with that team, and Mayock is doing a great job of helping him with that. I really like this team a lot, and I actually had them, getting that wild card spot, and it's looking like that more and more every day, and I hope they get it. Raiders and their fan base definitely deserves just get the wild card, man. They deserve a little bit of something, especially up in Vegas. You just left Oakland. Give those Oakland fans a little something to root for. They're going to need it. And yeah, that's actually all of our games for this week. And I want to throw a quick question out. Young E, we have the NHL here on the screen, and the Stanley Cup is about to start.
It's set. Starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it's about to start, is what I said.
Yeah.
So we have the Lightning versus the Stars. Who are you picking?
I'm taking the Stars.
And why is that?
I like the Stars. They have a deep team. They've been good for a long time, and they've played really well in the playoffs.
Isn't the Stars your mom's team?
No.
Am I tripping?
Penguins.
I thought your mom liked the Texas team. I swear, am I tripping?
When I was a kid, we had a team in Nebraska called the Lincoln Stars.
Oh,
they were like a
okay.
minor league team for the Dallas Stars. So we were kind of fans, but not really.
I see. Are you gonna watch this game at all?
Yeah, I'll definitely watch the Stanley Cup. It's very entertaining. If you have the time, I'd definitely tune in.
All right, I like that. Let's
Can I
get
throw a hot take?
Yeah, let's go ahead and drop into the hot, sizzling, blister-inducing hot takes that we got here on the Couch Sports Talk podcast. Young E, lead it off for us. What the fuck do you got for us this week, boy?
So I got two this week. One that I've talked about before, and one that is probably more hot than I think it should be. But the first one is, I am going to continue saying this all season long. I am seeing 3 playoff teams out the NFC West and 3 playoff teams out the AFC West. The NFL is dominated by the West right now.
No.
Out the NFC West, I think it is going to be a very close, tough battle, but I do think the Rams will lose out just barely one last game to the Cardinals. And I think it'll be Cardinals, Niners, and Seahawks, and I think out the AFC, Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs, obviously. So that's what I'm going with, because what else I saw in week 1 was the AFC North is a lot weaker than I thought it was. I think we're only going to get the Ravens out of the AFC North. I think the Steelers will fall off, especially if Ben gets hurt again. Now, my second hot take, a little bit hotter, fresh out the oven, 450 degrees. Yeah?
Is it Little Caesars hot and ready?
No, it's hotter than that.
Okay.
Fresh out the brick oven, Blaze 825.
Okay.
This week will be the highest scoring week in NFL history.
Whoa.
As we went through the matchups, one by one, I just see matchups with awful defenses and good offenses, lots of blowouts, lots of points to be scored this week. I don't even know the number to beat off the top of my head, but that is my hottest take I've probably ever came with. This week will break the NFL record for the most points scored in one week. The other thing to consider is all 16 teams do play all 32 teams do play in this second week.
I could actually tell as we were going on with the show that Young E was getting very horny for some fantasy points.
It's not even that. I don't even think it's going to be typical fantasy guys. I just think lots of points.
Lots of points. All right. Even in blowouts.
Yep.
You'll see it like 45-30.
38-20.
Okay.
I see a lot of scores around that area.
Okay.
41-20.
Okay. Philanthropist, you got something to throw at us?
My hot take for the evening. I gave it away a little bit earlier that I thought the Ravens are going to make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I also have another hot take for the NFC. I have a surprise team that I think is going to make the Super Bowl and play against the Baltimore Ravens.
Whoa.
The fellas aren't going to like this one, I can already tell. I don't know if Ethan's trying to predict it or not, but
You can't do that.
my hot take is that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC, go to the Super Bowl, and then promptly get blown out by the Ravens.
Wouldn't that be the most cowboy shit thing ever?
Yep.
That's real hot. Like, I might get a sunburn.
Oh, you might. You better put some SPF 50 on for
SPF,
that one.
I might need 60.
Look, I'm jumping on.
Fucking terrible.
I don't think the Packers improved.
Whoa.
Well, we know they didn't improve. They're the same
No,
exact
I'm
team.
still saying whoa from you saying the Cowboys are
okay,
going to be in the Super Bowl.
I could have taken a step forward. You don't know. It was just
Yeah. Okay, but they have the same roster, and I just don't believe that they can sustain any type of defense against a good running team, which the Cowboys are. I don't believe in the 49ers. I think the Seahawks are still good. They're going to be something to contend with. Don't believe in the Saints because I can see Drew Brees slipping before my very eyes.
Whoa.
Don't believe in the Bucks at all.
Whoa.
I just think it's for the Cowboys to take. I think they're going to overperform against people's expectations. I've been saying this for a few weeks now.
Over the Seahawks.
That's the toughest part of this. But yeah, I'm going to take it.
Whoa. That I'm getting blisters all over my body. That's insanely hot.
Remember the Cowboys beat the Seahawks with Jason Garrett 2 years ago.
This is philanthropist we are seeing in front of our eyes. We're hearing it in our ears. Philanthropist, he is going full mainstream media, following the Cowboys conspiracy theory narrative set forth by the Jones family.
They call me Philly Bayless. My boy Jerry.
Yep.
My boy Jerry got me on payroll.
Yeah, Jerry has got philanthropists on the payroll, and he's bringing mainstream media to the couch, and I don't mess with it. But that's what this show about. The show is about. This is what the segment is about. Some fucking hot takes, and boy, I'm sunburned. I might have needed SPF 100 to survive that one. I like it, but I don't like it, and I don't respect it. But
we them boys.
No. All right.
How about them Cowboys?
No. Okay, that's crazy. He really went out and he's not too happy about that. I have a more, I think a more realistic, still hot take though. I was already very high on Kyler Murray, but I think he's going to be in the top 3 of MVP voting this year. And the reason why I say that is because I really do think, just based off of watching week 1, and I think he's getting more comfortable with himself as a football player in the NFL, he's going to be running a lot more. And I think that's going to be playing a part into the voting. I'm not saying he's going to win MVP. I think that's either going to be Mahomes, or it could be Wilson, or it could be Lamar. But I think Kyler, with what he's doing and what his supporting cast, it's not going to be as good as those other teams. So I think that's what's going to push him and accelerate him into the top 3. But man, I'm high on this kid. And, we say kid, which is funny because, we're pretty much the same age as these rookies now. But yeah, man, I like him a lot. I think what they got, especially with the addition of D-Hop, it's going to open up a lot more for him. And he's going to put up some fucking numbers, and I'm excited to see him in the second year. So that's my somewhat hot take. I would say it's pretty hot. Y'all's were just fucking volcano hot. So.
We them boys.
Oh, my goodness. Do we have any closing statements here before we close it out?
If you made it, thank you. I'm really enjoying doing these in-person podcasts. It's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy to have the NFL back. Honestly, tonight has been the first time I've turned on my PS4 in like a week and a half because I've just been watching fucking sports every fucking night, and there's nothing better than that. I'm so happy about that.
Turns me on.
Football, fucking NHL. It's all great things. I'm so happy right now. So keep watching sports. Keep watching us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jerry, if you're watching this, I'm going to send you my account number and routing
Oh my
information.
goodness.
We can keep this arrangement going. I think it's a very mutually beneficial arrangement for both of us. With that being said, how about them Cowboys?
There was one thing that I did want to kind of talk about for just a brief second, and that is I want to show respect to the players coming together, and especially the players that reached out to the other teams they were facing in week 1. And, we seen, like we talked about, the Chiefs and the Texans, they got together in the middle of the field. We seen the Falcons and the Seahawks. They actually took a knee during the kickoff. I know that made a lot of people mad. I really don't give a fuck. This is more than sports, and these players know that. And for all the players that are doing that and going to continue to do that, you have my respect, you have my support, and I know that you have all of us here, all 3 of us, you have our support, and we're going to continue to voice that because Black Lives Matter, and we really don't give a fuck what you think, because that's just how we're going to go with it. and we're going to support them. And yeah, it's really exciting. I like what's going on. And I actually thought it was pretty funny with when it showed Jerry Jones when they were doing the national anthem. It looked like he was really looking at which player on his team, was going to be taking a knee. And I think one player actually did. So I'm really interested to see if the same player is going to do it again. I can't remember off the top of my head which player that was. But yeah, man, Black Lives Matter. Full support here from the Couch Sports Talk podcast. Any last words regarding that at all?
Definitely, we're here to support, and I love what the players are doing both in the NBA and the NFL.
Anything, philanthropist?
Yeah, I agree. And listen, if you're a listener and you don't happen to agree with that statement, I'm sorry, but this is probably not the podcast for you.
Yeah, we don't really need you or want you here, so
We're not going to play that game where we say, "Oh, we don't bring up politics on the podcast." We're not naive, and I think it's time for all of us to accept that sports, politics, all of this, it's all intertwined. And you can't tell these men to not involve their political views because it's their ass that's on the line, and they work to entertain you. So if they are asking you for your attention for an issue that's affecting them, you need to listen.
And, to me, too, it's not necessarily even political. These people are, they're out there, these players from all backgrounds, they're fighting for their rights. And I just can't see how you don't support that. You clearly got a different agenda.
Agreed.
If you don't agree with them. So we'll just leave it on that note. This is the Couch Sports Talk podcast. I am Goozy, here with Philanthropist and Young E. Thank you for joining us. This is the place where we, just like you, get all of our sports by sitting on the fucking couch. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching.